It was supposed to be an ordinary Monday evening in Madagascar's capital, Antananarivo. The nation waited, as it had so many times before, for a presidential address from Andry Rajoelina. But this time, the president never appeared. Instead, news began spreading like wildfire. Andry Rajoelina, the man who once called himself the face of a new Madagascar, had fled the country. According to The Guardian and French media, Rajoelina escaped on a French military aircraft just hours before his televised speech. The operation, insiders say, was quietly coordinated with French President Emmanuel Macron. At 51 years old, Rajoelina, who controversially holds dual citizenship in both France and Madagascar, was said to be headed to Dubai. His sudden departure shocked the nation, leaving millions of citizens staring at blank TV screens where a presidential address was supposed to air. This wasn't just a flight, it was an escape from a collapsing presidency. To understand what happened, we must go back to where it all began. Andry Rajoelina's political story has always been tied to the military and to power taken, not given. He first rose to prominence in 2009 when he led a military-backed coup that ousted President Marc Ravalomanana. The key to his success back then, an elite military unit known as Capsat. They were his shield and his sword. But in 2025, 16 years later, that same unit turned its back on him. It was Capsat's defection that sealed Rajoelina's fate. In the weeks before his escape, Madagascar was on fire, not with flames, but with anger. A new generation, calling themselves Gen Z Madagascar, took to the streets, protesting corruption, poverty, and years of failed promises. They were tired of darkness, both literal and political. Power blackouts, water shortages, and rising food prices had become part of daily life. When the government arrested two opposition leaders for planning a peaceful rally, the spark became ablaze. Tens of thousands filled Antananarivo's central square, waving flags, singing, and demanding Rajoelina's resignation. It wasn't just a protest anymore, it was a movement. Then came the video that changed everything. Members of the Capsat unit, the same soldiers who once protected Rajoelina, posted a defiant message online. In it, they vowed never again to turn their guns on the people. Let us join forces, military, gendarmes, and police. Refuse to be paid to shoot our brothers and sisters. That statement broke the regime's backbone. Almost overnight, the military's loyalty fractured. Soldiers and police began joining the protesters. By the time the sun rose, Rajoelina's grip on power was slipping away. The government's response was brutal. The United Nations reported at least 22 people killed in the unrest, though Rajoelina's administrations claimed there were only 12, dismissing them as looters. But the people saw something else, martyrs of democracy, ordinary citizens who paid the price for speaking out. Amid the chaos, gendarmerie officers began apologizing publicly for excesses committed during the crackdown. The tide had turned. The regime was bleeding from within. And then came the silence. Rajoelina's promised address never aired. No official statement, no farewell speech. Instead, his presidential jet was seen heading west and then vanishing into the clouds. For the people of Madagascar, it was a moment of disbelief. Their president had abandoned them. Rajoelina's escape also reopened a deep wound, Madagascar's colonial past. For years, critics accused him of being more loyal to France than to his own nation. His dual citizenship was seen as a betrayal, proof that when things went wrong, he could always run. And that's exactly what he did, boarding a French military plane, seeking refuge under the same flag that once ruled Madagascar. Now, the country is left in limbo. With the president gone, power is scattered between military factions, civic leaders, and youth activists. The Gen Z Madagascar movement has called for calm, but insists no more corruption, no more manipulation, this time, real democracy. The world watches as this island nation, rich in culture and yet scarred by political instability, tries to find its way forward. Andry Rajoelina once called himself man of the people, a DJ turned president, a modern reformer. But in the end, the same people who once cheered for him and the same soldiers who once defended him were the ones who brought him down. He took power with the army's help, and he lost it when the army refused to fire. His rise began with a coup. His fall came with a choice, not to fight, but to flee. And so ends the story of Madagascar's fugitive president, a leader undone by his own past and by a generation that refused to stay silent.